Today, it's all about having a green thumb, and that you have, Anwar.
Well, I'd like to think so. It's something I really enjoy, Michelle. But you're absolutely right. It's the countdown to the unofficial start to the summer season. Officially, it starts June 21st, but who are we kidding? Victoria Day weekend, 1 week from today, everybody kickstarts things. Whether it's just sitting on your boat, maybe doing some camping, or gardening, we're going to highlight all the fun throughout the week. We're broadcasting live in Stouffville at Tree Valley Garden Center, and this is the popular spot. They're gearing up. Look at the colors here. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal, and the smell, oh my goodness, it's intoxicating in a pleasurable kind of way. It's amazing stuff here. But this will be one of the busiest weekends, this long weekend, for the industry. It's worth $7 billion. So we'll give you some tips throughout the hour. But of course, the big thing is about the frost. Now, it'll be chilly this week. The next couple of days, we'll see a cool down, especially north of the city. Let's take a look at our typical frost dates across the region. So we'll highlight that for you. We'll start off looking in the Barrie area. Typically, it's May 26th, Hamilton, April 29th, London, May 9th, Peterborough, May 18th. In the Toronto area, generally speaking, May 9th. So we're pretty safe in that department. We're celebrating the countdown to summer as we broadcast live at Tree Valley Garden Center in Stouffville. Good friend Denis Flangan from Landscape Ontario. Some tips about those who want to tackle repairing the lawn.
Yeah, absolutely. You've picked a dandy here, buddy. Look at this. After that long, hard winter, there's lots of what we call thatch in the grass. You've got to get rid of that, rake it out. Then you're going to have bare patches. That could be from winter kill, could be from dogs. Whatever the case, you've got to put some top dressing, nice quality topsoil, get that on about a ½ inch thick over all those bare patches. Follow that with some grass seed, and people always ask about birds. You know, just put enough for the birds as well. You know? Honestly.
The reality is you won't be able to do that one fix in one shot. It's ongoing.
You are so right. Yeah. I like to keep a bucket full of soil and seed mixed together. So during the season, all the way through the summer, if there's a little bare patch, just put it in.
And very quickly about the liquid fertilizer post of the dry.
Quick fix, high nitrogen, as high nitrogen as you can get. So if you've got a real lawn in disrepair, like this one, then liquid fertilizer. Otherwise, the straightforward granular fertilizer, still top high nitrogen.
All right, and the first number is the nitrogen number when you look at fertilizer. Coming up next, your full forecast, and we look about the new trends in vegetable gardening. Live on location as we count down to summer. Stay with us.
Anwar's in Stouffville at the Tree Valley Garden Center, getting us geared up for gardening, and it's another warm one outside today, Anwar.
And, you know, you want to enjoy this. I mean, the weekend was fabulous, unbelievable, in fact. Cool down will begin once that cold front moves in, Michelle. So as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, much cooler, and then it starts to bounce back for the long weekend, which is great news. And, of course, temperatures, you know, are on many people's minds, especially if you're a green thumb. Anybody who went to a garden center this past weekend knows that people are ripe for this. I want to show you a couple of interesting trends, some maybe ideas for you at home. This is Ron Cook. Good to have you, Ron. And one of the newest trends is talking about vegetable gardens, but not in the traditional sense in your backyard, but in containers. So maybe you can highlight a couple here for us.
Well, some of the things that you can do in containers are some of the herb containers. We have a mixture of basil here and some oregano and some parsley, and you could plant it all up in one big container and have fresh herbs right outside the kitchen door. Then there's a trend towards container tomatoes and peppers, and even so much as putting some things like cucumbers and beans on trellises and in containers against a fence.
So this size, it seems kind of small, but you're saying this would be sufficient to bear some produce for the family?
This is going to produce tomatoes all summer long. The flowers are already on it. Yeah. It's about to set fruit any time now, and this will start producing, and it's actually a vine. This is an indeterminate plant that's going to continue to grow and produce more flowers and more fruit all summer long.
So we wouldn't have to move this into a bigger pot. I mean, me being the amateur, I would think, well, I need more room and I'll get more tomatoes, but not necessary.
Not necessary. The one thing, as it grows, you would have to keep up with the constant water needs. The bigger the plant, the more water it's going to need. And as it produces tomatoes, the more water and fertilizer. You'd have to add a little bit of fertilizer late in the season to keep it constantly producing for you.
Well, let's introduce you to Mary McDonald now, too, and talk about just your regular garden variety in terms of perennials and some of the more popular and easy care ones. What would they be?
This is purple coneflower here. It's a native plant. It is really easy to grow. Hummingbirds love it. Butterflies love it. This is a daylily, which is, I call them bulletproof. It's extended bloom now. They're not like the old-fashioned daylilies. They bloom longer and they repeat bloom. That's blanket flower, the longest flowering perennial of all the perennials.
And what about here in the background?
That's
quickly?
our shade ones. We have Brunera, which is just loves the shade, Astilbe, queen of the shade, and we have, of course, hostas, and that's a slug-resistant hosta. You can get a hosta for any size or color that you want.
I think the hosta is a secret weapon because it covers anything and looks wonderful. So here are just a couple of tips, and they have so much to choose here at Tree Valley Garden Center in Stouffville. Let's take a look at your forecast. We're counting down to the unofficial start of summer. Tomorrow we do camping, but just as we wrap up here, if you've purchased your hanging tropical plants or you've put them in the ground, remember, although we're not forecasting frost for the city, even 3-4 degrees, you may want to cover them up or bring them inside because that chilly air could kill them. We want to thank everybody at Tree Valley Garden Center, and join us tomorrow as we count down to summer.